Coming up next on News 8 at 5, a local family accuses Tulsa Park Department of child abuse.
Abuse of county funds is what this woman is accused of. We'll have the latest.
And the question on residents' minds after the flood is federal money.
In sports, we'll meet a pair who's nice on ice tonight in our special assignment, Unsung Heroes.
And this resort weather just goes on and on.
We'll have details of these stories and others, including the arrest of fugitive banker Wes McKinney.
And construction on part of I-44 will cause a detour for some motorists that could last for months. We'll have a live report.
From KTUL TV in Tulsa, Charles Ely, Carol Lambert, Bob Hauer, meteorologist Don Woods, and John Walls on sports. This is News 8 at 5.
Good evening, I'm Rhea Blakey. Carol Lambert has the night off. The search for a fugitive banker is over.
Wes McKinney is in federal custody in California. He was arrested early this afternoon in a Palo Alto store.
Kathy Gross wanted to do something nice for their two sons this summer, so they decided to enroll them in the city's summer day camp program with the Parks Department. Now, just 3 days after the program began, the Gross family is saying they made a big mistake. This is to the State Department of Human Services and to the police. He wants to make sure what he claims happened to his son won't happen to any other campers, Rhea.
Gene, I talked with Kathy Gross last night, and she said there was a possibility they might even file a lawsuit against the city. Any more word on that today?
Not really. John Gross says really what's most paramount in his mind is just to make sure that any other campers that are going to the day camp program, not just at Amos T. Hall, but across the city, aren't facing the same kind of severe punishments that he says his boy suffered yesterday, or Monday, rather.
All right. Thank you, Gene Young. Charles?
Some heated arguments and serious allegations are coming out of the embezzlement trial of Patsy Coates. Coates was suspended from her job as Wagner County Treasurer after more than $200,000 were found to be missing from the county books. News 8's Al Hinkle's been covering the trial. He's in the newsroom now with details. Al?
Well, Charles, Coates was charged last December with 6 counts of embezzlement and forgery. Coates' attorney claims she's being framed and set up for political reasons, possibly by one of the Wagner County commissioners. Now, if that sounds like a lot of allegations are being thrown around, you're right. And this is all being done under oath.
Tax plan. The package was passed this afternoon by the House. The plan would increase taxes by $441 million.
Tulsa police officer plans to take his disagreement with the chief to the civil surface. Officer George Beard was fired for his actions during a recent arrest. Chief Bob Dick says Beard fired an unnecessary warning shot and then kicked a handcuffed suspect. Handwriting and bits of bone may be all that's left of a once feared Nazi. Police handwriting experts in Brazil say they found evidence that Joseph Mengele is dead. The experts found 15
attached to feeding tubes. Well, recently, Oklahoma lawmakers passed the Natural Death Act. That law allows terminally ill patients to direct doctors to withhold treatment. I'll have more on that story tonight on News 8 at 6. An Oklahoma teenager is now the youngest person ever to receive a heart-lung transplant. 14-year-old Elizabeth Burns of Norman is now in critical condition at Pittsburgh Hospital. She's doing about as well as can be expected at this point following 6 hours of intense surgery.
There's more still to come on News 8 at 5.
Federal disaster flood relief. Many are hoping, but will it come?
And there's no through traffic here at 41st Street. I'm Leanne Taylor. I'll have details in a live report.
Gave their okay for Monday's launch early today. 4 satellites are scheduled to be deployed during this mission. The trip
will try to get Don Woods to promise to make this glorious weather permanent.
That'll meet a family that knows well the joys of adoption and bringing children together.
I tell you, I got up this morning and it felt like football weather. I thought we'd skipped a whole season.
Oh, wasn't it great?
Feels
was
like
fantastic.
A great season for anything today.
Need a blanket again tonight, more of the same.
Things are tough all over now.
Oh, sure. Resort weather, that's what we're having. If Oklahoma had this all the time, we'd be filthy rich from the tourists. Let's have a look now at the current data. 72 degrees, 35% humidity, which is very low. Winds north 15, the pressure flood level. In Skiatook, it'll be below flood level tonight, and Thursday afternoon, it'll be below flood level in Sperry. However, out in Owasso, which is just off the map right here, flood stage will be at the crest tomorrow. So we have Skiatook and Sperry with the waters going down, and Owasso with them coming up tomorrow. So that's where we stand. Now on the temperatures, beautiful. 72 in Tulsa, 66 at Fayetteville, 60 north. And here in the plains, still under the influence of high pressure. Now winds will switch into the south tomorrow, bring in a little more humidity, raise the temperatures a little bit. There's a chance of some scattered thunderstorms, mostly out in western Oklahoma, but the nice weather is basically going to continue. So let's have a look at the forecast. Tonight, clear, cool.
Oklahoma, how common is something like this in June?
Rare as hen's teeth.
That's a shame.
We just don't get it this good.
Because it is really wonderful out.
Yeah, it's
Is
marvelous.
there any indication, though, Don, if it's going to get a lot hotter later on in the summer? I mean, is this just a teaser?
Real? Yes.
I've been here before, you know.
We had all the rain, right?
Oh,
We've
yeah.
used up rain through August.
Well, we'll give you a few more months to work on that one then.
Thank you, Don.
Bob Hauer's Waiting Child series is concerned about adoption, and tonight he wants us to meet a family whose happiness began with the adoption of their little girl.
Until a couple of years ago, James and Nathala Stewart were a childless couple. Now they have 2 children, and they're expecting a third. They're a happy family, and it all started with the adoption of their daughter, Nicole.
I guess if you base happiness on the fact that we get along well and that we love each other and that we're concerned about each other, then I guess we are a happy family.
The Stewarts had been married for 9 years and been told that they could not have children when they adopted Nicole, who will be 3 in October. And then, as often happens in such situations, they conceived James Anthony, who's 9 months old, and now they're expecting their third child. Well, how do the Stewarts feel about adoption now that they know they can have biological children? And how does Nicole feel about having a little brother?
When we started making her a part of things, she brings me diapers. She'll bring a little washcloth if I need it and stuff like that. The more responsibility she had, the more she felt like I'm big sister and I'm helping out. And it doesn't seem to bother her as much.
So you're really in favor of adoption?
We are. Matter of fact, just before I found out that I was pregnant with James Anthony, we were getting ready to adopt again, but we were going with an older child.
Oh, were you?
Mm-hmm.
So you would encourage it?
Oh, I do. I do. Matter of fact, I kind of wish that we would have adopted earlier rather than waiting.
You feel the same way, too?
Yeah, I sure do.
About a very happy family speaking strongly for adoption.
That's fantastic. I think that's why so many people enjoy your series, Bob.
But it's gratifying to see that, isn't it?
Yeah. And those happy endings.
Yeah, those folks are going to have a house full, aren't they?
Yes.
Pretty soon.
They're working on it, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Next in sports, we'll continue our special assignment look at unsung heroes.
Tonight, a pair of skaters who can do rings around the competition.
Tonight at 6:30.
Now, John Wall's in sports, and he has kind of a cold sport for a cool day.
Why not? Tonight we continue our look at unsung heroes of sports by talking to a couple of early birds. Sean and Maria Gales are hard at work at the ice skating rink long before most of us have even woken up from our night's sleep. Jack Buns found that out firsthand, believe me. And here's his special assignment, Unsung Hero. It's a special assignment with a look at Tim Leos, a very promising young tennis player from here in the Tulsa area. In pro tennis, Jimmy Connors didn't get much. Birmingham, Michigan, of course, the U.S. Golf Open I'm talking about. And there may be an old face back in an old place in baseball, the Orioles, looking for a manager perhaps, and they may have already found their man.
I hope Jack's next special assignment date was a little later in the day.
About 4 in the afternoon, I think. Might be a little more to his liking.
Yeah, he looked a mite drowsy. Now we go to Rick Hall in the newsroom, who is wide awake for a look at what's coming up on News 8 at 6.
Charles, coming up at 6, more on the arrest of Tulsa financier Wes McKinney in California. We'll also have a look at the new proposed Oklahoma tax bill and its chances of getting through. We'll update you on flooding and the situation in northeastern Oklahoma and have the latest on the trial of Patsy Coates in Wagoner County. So join us at 6.
Okay, thank you very much, Rick. We hope you'll stay with us. Have a good night and a good week. Now we join the ABC World News Tonight.
Live from KJRH in Tulsa, Sam Jones, Beth Ringel, meteorologist Gary Shore, and sports director Jerry Weber. This is News Center 2 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Fugitive Wes McKinney is in custody tonight. McKinney disappeared last fall after the collapse of two Tulsa financial institutions that he ran.
Losing its entire cockpit. They put some more explosives in the center of the aircraft. The aircraft was at that time filled with fuel up to maximum capacity.
Afterward, investigators found the plane had been empty. The sky marshals released secretly earlier. The hijackers vanished into the chaos of Beirut, where for weeks their fellow Shiites have been battling Palestinians.
But as Mrs. Messner says, it boils down to her word against the realtor. If they'd had some kind of a written agreement, they would have had a much stronger case.
All right, thank you, Leanne Taylor.
Still to come here on News 8 at 6, the latest on a California daycare scandal. The news could shock you.
And the passing of Karen Ann Quinlan, a case that set a precedent for the nation. Next on News 8 at 6.
Little 80s. It just went too fast. You couldn't see it, but I'll tell you, it'll be in the mid-80s and beautiful. Crystal Gamble and McAllister gets tonight's Gusty, who's saying that this is absolutely ideal weather. It's resort weather, and all those folks who have to travel other places around the country and the world to find pretty weather can come right back home to Tulsa and eastern Oklahoma and enjoy some of the best.
You know, Don, if you could promise weather like this all the time, you might be able to make a mint.
Oh, we'd all be rich, wouldn't we?
Thank you, Don. A little earlier, we told you about the arrest of fugitive financier Wes McKinney. Well, just a few moments ago, the U.S. magistrate in San Jose, California, continued Wes McKinney's arraignment, his initial bond appearance, until tomorrow. Now, our ABC affiliate station in San Jose is covering the McKinney arrest, and reporter Rob Flattabo is on the phone with me right now. Rob, what can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well, Rick, details are a little scarce at this point, but I can tell you that McKinney, a short time ago, was arraigned in U.S. District Court in San Jose before Magistrate Norton Blacker. What they go through at the federal level is what's called a removal hearing. They're also going to take care of that tomorrow.
For the information and the update on that story. And we'll, of course, have another update for you tonight at 10 on News 8, so stay with us.
The overpass at 41st Street over I...
would think so, if not in the morning when you get frustrated when it's all tied up in traffic.
Just ahead here on News 8, we'll tell you why playing by the numbers doesn't always work.
And in sports, Baltimore, baby, looking for help from a blast from its past. We're going to find out what's been happening with the Baltimore Orioles. They're ready to fire a manager.
Well, perhaps it looks like this thing, the old axe is ready to fall here.
Right
Shades of Billy
across his
Martin.
neck.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, that's so gruesome.
I'm sorry, it's life.
It is life. Word out of Baltimore that the Orioles are ready to fire manager Joe Altobelli and may replace him with Earl Weaver. So far, that hasn't been confirmed, but the stage has certainly been set. O's owner Edward Bennett, 2.5.
19.5. Big time.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Tonight at 10, the latest on the arrest of Republic financier Wes McKinney. Also, we'll have reaction from Republic depositors still waiting for their money. News 8's political specialist Ken Wells will have the latest from the state capitol on the proposed tax bill and a local Nicaraguan protest. How do you deal with stress? We'll have those tips. Join us at 10.
And Don, more sunshine for tomorrow.
Right. No stress from the weather tomorrow. Everybody will be relaxed, cool, and it'll be a sunny 83, so enjoy it.
I think everybody
will.
Thank you. Today's numbers are 1, 0, 6, and 9. No, it's not a lottery. It's Michael Herbert Dingler, who is a high school teacher in Minneapolis. And he says 1, 6, 0, and 9 is his name. He has chosen it because it has a special philosophical significance for him. We don't know. Well,
somebody had to read it, right?
That's our show for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you on the McKinney story and other news tonight at 10.
Good night.
Coming up on News 8 at 10, fugitive Wes McKinney in jail. Prosecutors hoping to keep him there.
Republic depositors now wondering if they'll get some answers and money.
And lawmakers work overtime on a tax offer the governor can't refuse.
In sports, our special assignment on Unsung Heroes continues tonight with one of Tulsa's best from the baseline.
And we've got another chilly night ahead of us.
An Oklahoma girl recovering from a heart-lung transplant. We'll have an update.
Plus, how did your congressman vote tonight in Washington? Some Oklahomans are unhappy about it. Join us next for News 8 at 10.
From KTUL TV in Tulsa, Rick Hull, Rhea Blakey, meteorologist Don Woods, and John Walls on sports. This is News 8 at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Fugitive financier Wes McKinney arrested by FBI agents in Palo Alto, California.
The Oklahoma banker was taken into custody as he tried to pawn a watch at a jewelry store. Our team coverage of the story begins tonight with Night Beat reporter Lauren Farr.
Because they simply didn't have the votes. One senator, Gene Stipe, had to fly in from Dallas, Texas to make this debate. And so they are going at it. They may still be going at it as late as 11:15 tonight.
Gonna be a late night at the state capitol. Ken, now at the beginning of your report, you said that the magic word was roads. What did you mean by that? I'm curious.
Well, here in Oklahoma, it's been said that people don't care where they go as long as the road is good. A lot of the rural legislators would not have supported this bill unless there was something in it for the folks at home. In this case, in the House, that something was better roads. We'll still have to wait and see what the Senate does.
All right, thanks, Ken. Rhea?
An about-face tonight in the U.S. House. That branch of Congress has voted to support the president and other Democrats who voted no last time but were wavering this time. In all, the Oklahoma delegation voted 5-1 with the president. 2nd District Congressman Mike Siner was the lone dissenter. He told News 8 tonight he will fight to keep communism from spreading in the region, but he doesn't think the president has exercised all channels of diplomacy with Nicaragua.
Oklahoma City protesters will defy the president. About a dozen people signed up to...
Young Norman girl remains in critical condition tonight. Earlier today, 14-year-old Elizabeth Burns became the youngest heart-lung dead at 10. Allegations of child abuse at a city park.
United Airlines could be back in the friendly skies soon.
And for some Americans, it just doesn't pay to travel abroad. Stay with us.
One hijacking leads to another. An American professor and his son were on a plane in Beirut when Shiite hijackers took the plane prisoner. Hours later, the hijackers let the Americans go, along with dozens of other hostages, and then blew it up. About an hour later, the father and the son were on another plane to Cyprus when a Palestinian commandeered it in revenge for the Shiites' action. The hijackers reportedly gave up in Cyprus, and all aboard were freed.
Tulsa's Park Department is dismissed next week. The judge says there's simply not enough evidence to prosecute the defendants. The month-old United Airlines pilot strike may be ending soon. Both management and labor have announced a tentative settlement in that strike. Details of the agreement have not been released, but it said the major sticking point has been resolved. That was the two-tiered labor contract issue. The union will still have to approve that settlement.
When News 8 continues, a child who is waiting no more. Bob Hauer introduces us to the stewards.
And another great day of weather in store. Don Woods with the Thursday forecast. Next.
Information.
Houston officials are waging a battle with hordes of tiny Asiatic...
We were just wondering if we set some kind of record today for nice weather.
Boy,
it was
Rick,
beautiful.
Fabulous weather.
I understand we might have another record low tonight.
Very close. If we hit 50, it'll tie the all-time record, and we're forecasting 53, so that's close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. Well, it does look like another very chilly night tonight, and more nice days coming up. All of a sudden, we're out of the rain, we're out of the nasty, humid weather. 80s for the most part. Now, on Monday, we could get a shower, but through the weekend, it looks nice. Jake Emberson of Morris, Oklahoma, gets tonight's Gusty, and Gusty is going to be out there looking up at the beautiful blue sky and the bright sun, the magnificent temperatures, and saying, well, I'm going to stay right here for my vacation and enjoy this because they're having worse weather in Acapulco.
It almost looks like he's wearing sunglasses, though.
He is. Those are shades. Sunglasses, Rhea.
Oh, okay. For tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Coming up next in sports, two Tulsans shooting for the top, one on bowling lanes.
The other on the courts. John Walls with a special assignment on unsung heroes. Next on News 8.
Only at the Reeves, boy. Way too much.
John's got a story on a bird who flew the coop who is now back.
That's very good. I like that. All kinds of rumors flying around tonight. You like that one too? About Earl Weaver going back to manage the Baltimore Orioles. He reportedly met today with O's owner Edward Bennett Williams and will be back in uniform according to reports tomorrow when the Birds open up a homestand. No sale of the team, but there may be a group of investors in the picture that could take over partial ownership. Team officials say they have enough players to play at South Florida this weekend. Whether they will is a good question. So we'll see what happens there.
Very interesting thing they've got going there.
Oh, interesting is a different word for
lack of other adjectives.
But I think tomorrow the thing ought to take some shape. We'll know what's happening.
Okay, we'll look for that one. And tomorrow here on News 8, though, more on the Wes McKinney case. Local federal prosecutors are in California trying to keep the financier in jail. And you may not have noticed, but it's wheat harvest time. We'll have a report. And a Chinese trade delegation comes to Tulsa. Join us for those stories and more tomorrow on News 8.
And Don, tomorrow looks good?
Looks good. Wheat harvest?
Wheat harvest.
Well, they can thrash the daylights out of that stuff tomorrow. Great weather. Sunny and 83. Really nice.
Harvest a little sunshine.
Harvest it all.
Okay, thanks. That's our show for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back at 26 and 10.
Oh. Good night.
See us, won't you? Lawn job got you, Buffalo.
Good morning. I'm Karen Keith with this News Center 2 update. Your taxes will be going up soon. Late last night, the state Senate voted 27-19 to pass the largest tax package in Oklahoma history. The Senate began deliberations on the plan soon after the House passed it yesterday afternoon. The bill will increase state sales taxes, corporate income taxes, and the gasoline tax, among others. The Senate hasn't passed the emergency clause that's tacked onto the bill yet, but it is expected to take it up when it reconvenes at 11 o'clock this morning. If approved, that clause would make the bill take effect immediately. U.S. Attorney Lane Phillips doesn't want fugitive Wes McKinney to get out of jail, and he's going to California today to present evidence to keep him last night in the area. But is it going to stay cool today? Jeff will let you know next.
News Center 2 Update is brought to you by Camera Gallery.
It's so nice outside.
Very nice. It's unseasonably cool for this time of year, thus the record low we set here in Tulsa, 52. That broke the old record low of 54, which was set back in 1913. That was a record that had stood for a long time, but a nice cool blast from Canada came down across the plains and the midwestern portion of the country, and that took care of a lot of record lows, and we're going to look at those at 11:30 this morning on Midday Oklahoma, how many record lows we set across the country. Now, we did have one in Tulsa with 52 degrees. Wichita and Fort Smith also set record lows this morning, but currently we're up 2 degrees to 54, the dew point at 50, humidity 86%. Winds this hour are calm, and the barometer rising. We do have some patchy ground fog in spots around the Tulsa area. Now, our map shows that temperatures across the region this afternoon will be warm, but not necessarily as warm as normal, and we're going to see mostly fair skies across a good portion of the area. Now, as far as seeing decent weather, that's going to continue right on into the weekend the way it looks. Our forecast for this afternoon, sunny and mild, winds becoming south at 5 to 15. And then for tonight, fair and mild. The weekend pulse coming by will give us a 20% chance for an isolated thunderstorm or less, and we'll have light southerly breezes. Today's high around 80.
Absolutely marvelous.
You bet.
Thank you. And we'll be back at 8:25 with an update on the local news and weather. And today at 11:30 on Midday Oklahoma, the doctor will join us to talk about diving accidents and the dangers of head and neck injuries. Janice McKinney will give you a lesson in lining baskets. And greengrocer Joe Carcione says summer's almost here, so it means it's watermelon time. Join us.